Hi friends, welcome back to the final session on django. Today we will see how do we write into a database from an application. So yesterday we had a get info page where we had actually put in a form to retrieve the information. So I will just add, so I'll use the similar kind of a page which is called enter info. I've just added a button in the same page. So once you log in, you get the get info with a button. You click that button, it will go into the enter info page. Okay, so this is the change I have done in get info. Now we'll go and look into the enter info page. So this is how your enter info will look like. So it has a button back to the get info page. Other than that, a form. So I have created a form here, enter info as P. So it will have one button, update. Okay, and then based on this, it will check the status and print the status of the entry, whether it failed, succeeded, blah blah, whatever happened, it will print it below in the same page. So this is how your enter info form will look like. Okay, so it's a form with a post action to go to enter info and then an update button. Okay, and one thing is this CSRF token, so that is something you need to know. This is for a security. So from a security perspective, this is very important, and this should be within your form block. Okay, if you put it outside your form block, it's going to give an error that the CSRF token is missing. So this is very important that you have this within this form. Okay, so this is your enter info. So here I'm calling, I'll go to enter info. So next will be your URL page. So in the URL page, I have created one more entry for enter info, a view called enter info with the name enter info. So anything that comes for enter info will be sent to that view. So let's see what that view contains. So this is how your view looks. It's pretty similar to get info. Okay, so it gets all the details from the, so only difference is here you fetch the details from the DB and put it across using employee ID. Here it's the reverse case where I get all the details from the form in a dictionary called details. Okay, I read the form, I'm going to, it's in a dictionary form. So for every item in the dictionary form, I am going to put in the create a dictionary. So what I am doing is for key comma value in info form cleaned data dot items, I am looping through the dictionary. For every key, I am putting the value of the clean data for the same key. So that's how I am filling this dictionary. So it will be details of employee name, details of, instead of giving so many lines, I put it in a for loop. Okay, instead of giving like this, employee ID is equal to clean data, since it was only search, I had one. Now there are so many fields that people enter. So instead of having so many lines, I put it in a loop which will recursively go and fill the details dictionary. And once it is filled, I am calling a function which is called enter details. Okay, and pass the dictionary, and there I will process the details, put it back into the database and get the status, success, failure, so on and so forth. What is the employee ID generated value? Insert. If you remember, employee ID was an auto field, so the application automatically generates it. So this is what you get out of enter details. And then the context stuff, as it's normal. And I use a form called enter info form, if you see at both the places. So initially what I am doing is I am putting the joined on and date of birth to time zone dot now. So it will be initially filled to today. It's a date time field, so it will be filled to today, and then the form will be presented to the user to fill it. Okay, so once he fills and submits, the process goes through. So I have added two more things here. So I have to import enter form and enter details both. So I have done these two. So this is your views. So I'll go to the form now. Let's see how the form will look like. So this is how we will have the form. Yesterday we had the get info form which had employee ID. Now you have the enter info form which will have the same married options, yes, no, single, married, and then the employee name, blah blah blah. All these fields will be taken in the form. The name will be enter info form. So when you look at your views again, so I'm putting it as enter get sorry, not this one, this is get info. Below I'll say enter info form. So I'm calling this form, assigning it to inform, and then passing it to the HTML as form underscore enter info. So in the HTML it will be form underscore enter info. So this is the flow, how it looks like. Okay, so now just like your models, I can also specify this options here and give it in the choices so that it comes as a drop down box. Okay, it comes as a in models I have this. So similarly I have given the same thing in the form as well. So here I have created a widget forms.select. So it's a drop down. When you give forms.select, it's a drop down with these options. Okay, so it automatically takes care of the backend processing, putting it in and all those things, it takes care. Okay, the rest is very similar. So forms.char field will be similar to your models. Okay, whatever you have given here, char field, the same thing will be there in your forms also, so that you maintain consistency. And max length should also be the same. Okay, and there are two date fields, so it's pretty similar. Okay, so I have given a name label here. For the rest I have not given a label. You can give a label for the same. So this is how the form. So this form will be presented to the user with two buttons, one to go to the get info page, another to update. So these will be the two things. Home. So once he presses enter, so it will go and kick off the enter details. So here you get a dictionary which I read as employee details. I first fill in the employee summary table, and then I have created queries, or rather abstraction layer queries to fill in the details into the other two tables. So once everything is done, you will have a message coming as successfully created with employee ID. If there is an exception, it will print the exception, why it could not create, and then it will finally return the message as a string which will come into your HTML as enter status from the view. So then it's going to print the enter status, so you know what is really happening. Okay, so this is the entire flow of how it has been done. So let's see how this form looks like now. Let me log in. So I'll say my app user 4. So I get this get info which is already there. I have cleared the database. You will not have anything coming out of it. So it says nothing exists. So ideally for this also we need to write a mechanism where a try catch basically. Let's do it quickly. Anyways we are there, so that it completes. So what it does here is it needs to be a try catch. So first I am going to try to get the details. Alt Okay, then accept exception as MSG or as details. Let me put it as MSG. Okay, PRINT MSG. Okay, so what we can also do here is details of error error colon MSG, so that in the front end you will get the is equal to MSG. So if there is an error, you are going to get it, and then you are going to return the details. So this is how your try except block will look like. I think. Okay, let's see after the change if this has changed. Yeah. Now let me try. Now if I put 0 and search, so it says error. So you don't get an exception page like you used to get. You get some message here, which is good. Okay, employee summer matching query does not have, which effectively means there is no data in that. Okay, I'll go to enter info. Let me enter some name, JOHNCANNY, first name JOHN whatever, CANNY, department, let's say finance, NCE, finance, location, let's say Bangalore, father's name Matt Canny, mother's name Kim Canny. He is married or single, so we can let him be married. And then address A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever, some address. I'll say update. So now what happens? Successfully created employee ID with, okay, there is some problem here. Instead of the actual employee ID, it is giving an object. Okay, so URLs models employee B. Okay, so I have given, yeah, so the problem here is employee name is equal to employee name, so that query is happening fine, dot emp underscore id. Right, so this is how it should look. But now what happens is he is already created. I'll call him John Canny the one. Okay, and I will just update. Okay, so there will be two guys. Now he is created with the ID 8. So now I can go to get info page. I'll put 8 and search. So I get his details, Matt Canny. So your application of putting in the data and pulling it out is done now. Okay, so this is how it works. Okay, so I hope you have understood everything. Let us log out. If you have any more queries or any more doubts, any more description, you can always mail me. Okay, you can drop a message on the board. Okay, thank you. This is all from my side for django.